All right, we are done charging for now. I think we are at, let's see, 85%. So let's get out of here. Stop. Charging infrastructure. You know, luckily this is an okay area, but this wasn't an okay area. It'd be kind of shady to be just out here at 10:45 at night by yourself at a closed Walgreens. So a lot of work needed in the infrastructure. So anyway, this is the video that I'm going to talk in. So I do have a silent kind of driving video. If you want to, if you want to watch that. Otherwise, I will be doing just a little bit of talking on this one and going through some different features and modes, but we'll go ahead and get started. Power up. Looks like starting in normal mode. So yeah, I don't have any ambient lighting. Wish I did, but I don't. So I am going to turn the heat on. So you just press this button. You got the heat button. Driver only, since I'm the only one in here. Right around 73. Got my Android Auto up. And actually, I'm gonna do that just for privacy reasons. I'm not gonna have that up. But anyway, so let's get started. I think we'll walk through some of the different modes. I can't roll down my windows. I've got new tint in here. You know, one of the things that I've always been wondering is if I wish there was a button right here that would turn in the wireless charging on and off. You can do it in the menu, because I have to use Android Auto and it has to be plugged in. So if I put it here, it charges my phone, but also the cable is plugged in, so it's kind of like counterproductive, I guess. But I don't always have it plugged in, so I don't want to go through the menu every single time. But anyway, let's get started. A little chilly out here. It is 34 degrees outside in Dallas, Texas today. So 187 till empty. I've basically found that the range of this car is 200. You know, that 274 number, that's basically if you're just in the city basically all the time. And in DFW, there is a lot of highways. So I'll be curious as soon as I get my home charger where I can start kind of risking driving more instead of having to go and find EV goes and electrifies and stuff like that. But so initial thoughts, I've noticed just over the last 2-3 days that the wind noise seems to be a little bit more noticeable than before. I don't remember on the drive hitting 40-50 miles an hour and hearing a lot of wind noise. At first I thought maybe it's because I put those mud flaps in, but honestly it's coming from like this area, the windshield area. So I'm gonna keep an eye on it. I can't really quantify it per se, I guess, but I am gonna keep an eye on it because it does seem like a little louder in here than it was when I first got the car. And I'm not sure what would attribute to that, or maybe I'm just noticing it now because the honeymoon period is ending slowly. But sorry, I have to turn around here. So anyway, back to the car. Normal mode, really good acceleration. Basically enough for almost any normal driver. I've got the little cameras down there, which are really cool. Sorry, 1 second. Love the blinker sound, love the feel of the steering wheel. Everything is very responsive, I will say. I know a lot of people gripe about Android Auto not filling in and not having wireless, but everything just feels really nice. I did another video where I talked a little bit about some of the nuances that I found on the interior itself. But for now, we're just gonna kind of cruise. I do have the speed controlled navigation, meaning the navigation adjusts to what the speed limit is. I haven't used it much because I'm usually doing about 3 or 4 over the speed limit, especially on the highway. But it's a really cool feature. But I think what we'll do is we'll walk through some of these modes that are in here, some of the sounds. So you go in here while I'm driving, trying to do this setup. I've gotten kind of used to doing this one. So right now I have no sound on. That's why it's Very quiet in here. You can hear the electric motors a little bit. So I'll be quiet for a second. I'll show you the difference. So we're gonna do Cyber, the sound called Cyber. Because I'm going pretty fast, but if I go into advanced settings, so this is stylish. Sounds kind of like an electric roller coaster you would find at Six Flags. And my favorite is dynamic. Kind of sounds like a race car. From like an Atari or Nintendo or something. Oh, C8 Corvette. But yeah, and if I go into sport mode, I do believe it gets a little louder. But I can also control it right here to make it louder so you guys can hear it. I'll go into sport. Transfers the gauges a little bit, makes them a little bit more aggressive looking. And this is where, man, this mode is awesome. It just, you know, it's in the top end, it's not quite like V8 or twin turbo V6 power, but it's just so smooth. The delivery is so smooth. It just feels so good. But anyway, so let me exit here. This is my favorite sound though. I use this one all the time because it does somewhat replicate revs. Car handles really well, especially for the weight. Now, evasive maneuvers, you can definitely feel the body roll, you can feel the weight of the car, but just cruising like this, it just inspires confidence. You can take corners well over 80, 90 miles an hour. Really feels planted. I think that center gravity kind of just really helps the dynamics of this. But passing cars, no problem. Gets a little bassy when you really floor it. Regen a little bit, so you can see the regen right there. I have it at level 3. I tend to usually drive it at iPedal because I love iPedal. I love the sensation of regen, but gotten used to that quite a bit. And I need to go east, so if I want to just pass this guy, just a little bit of, nope, never mind. He's gonna go the same way. Gonna try to go around him. No problem at all for this cart to climb up to 100 as fast as you can. Really fun to drive. My Stinger is pretty powerful too, but still really fun. So for video's sake, I am gonna turn this off. There you go. So back to stock quiet. Back to Android Auto. And I do want to show you guys the HDA, the Highway Drive Assist, and I only have Highway Drive Assist 1, so keep that in mind. So I'm going to set my cruise here in a minute. And cruise, and I'll turn on the steering assist. I'll cruise at 73 miles an hour. So what I like to show with this is, unless the curve is really strong, this thing can hold its own. Like, I don't generally have to touch the steering wheel for a while. Sometimes if a car or a truck or something is coming up, it does kind of freak out and tells me to tap the steering wheel. I'll touch the steering wheel, but I just tap it. But I'm gonna take my arms off. And let's see how long this goes before it says, hey, come on. And this curve, it may ask me to. Plus there's a car right next to me. Let me just past him. See what happens. It does a really good job of keeping you in the center of the lane. Sometimes, you know, as most, it will freak out a little bit, and but yeah, it's better than the one in my Stinger. The one in my Stinger, first of all, I have an 18. I do have adaptive cruise and lane assist, but this is definitely a lot better. Obviously, 4 years later, I'm hoping technology's come a little bit further. I would love to experience HDA 2. But unfortunately my car is not equipped with that. But yeah, so far so good. isn't asking me to touch the steering wheel or anything. Kind of scroll through the menus while I'm just killing. I love this one. You know, we'll go into eco mode, save some gas here, and it's pretty cool to see how much you can save by turning the heat off. I'm going to turn the heat off. It goes from 183 to 189. There's the steering wheel. So I just kind of literally just tap the steering wheel and it goes back to doing its own thing. So not bad at all. So we are going to be doing a drag race video tomorrow between the Stinger and this EV6. So stay tuned for that. While I was charging, I was going through the app, the Kia Access app, which we do get 1 year of ultimate Kia Access for free. And it's a pretty cool app. You know, my biggest criticism on that app is that the interface looks like an intern designed it. Okay, so here, real quick, I'm turning a decent curve. I tapped the steering wheel a second ago, and it's just kind of taking this curve by itself. I'm not touching it. See, there you go. Just on these curves, it just makes me tap it because I think it realizes that. Here, I'm gonna hold my hand here. Let's see what it does here. It'll correct me into the lane. But yeah, pretty good. But anyway, as I was saying, we are going to film a Stinger versus EV6 video tomorrow. I do believe the 0 to 30 on this is probably faster, but the Stinger, excuse me, the Stinger will likely take this one, especially in the mid to top range. I'll turn my heat back on because it's a little chilly in here. Bump it up. Nope, not high. But anyway, what else can I show you? So just going through the menus. The one gripe I had on this menu, I don't like the way the graphic gets cut off right there. It looks cheap. I wish they had just kind of faded that, and I get why they did it. That's where the object would be, but let me go back to it. So if I adjust the adaptive, it kind of shifts that little bubble. I just don't like the way it flattens out. It looks kind of cheesy, but that's that. Other menus, trip menu. And you scroll through this, it'll give you an overall. I've driven 1,730 miles on this car already. Compass. But yeah, I mean, that's fit for the most part. I'm not gonna mess with this area too much just right now, just because I'm driving. But what else can I talk about? I really wish it had ambient lighting. It doesn't. It would be really nice in here if it did. But yeah, we'll cruise for a little bit. See, as I turn the temperature up, the mileage drops too. If I turn the temperature down, it goes up. I turn the temperature up, the mileage drops a couple miles. It's so crazy how, and I don't want to say temperamental, it's a battery, so I get it. But it is amazing how sensitive things can get. But while it's doing that, we'll go through here a little bit. Just get out of Android Auto. But yeah, I think I mentioned in my last video there's a winter mode, but really interesting stuff. Like you can check out EV mode. This is what everybody's talked about, where it shows you like with the air on, I'll get 171. With the air off, I'll get 184. It'll show me the next charging station that's available. Honestly, most of these are either, you know, sometimes they're designed for office complexes, so you can't use it because they're in a garage, or they're literally like 3 kilowatt chargers, where that's basically what you get almost in your 110 volt at home. So, but not bad. And then here you can kind of have different items. There's a video on how to access this when you have Android Auto, but you know, you can do different things on here. I'm about to exit, so I will have to stop. But let me just go back to my forecast. Cruising, doing pretty good. Back down. All right. Regen a little bit as I slow down. Miles went up by 1. Oh, that poor guy. Sucks. And I pedaled. Get me to a stop. I'll just. But lots of features in here that I just honestly have not messed with. I covered some of the steering wheel controls in my interior video, some of the gripes I have, but what else? Sound system is good. I listen to a lot of punk rock, and punk rock, unless you have lossless audio, it doesn't really sound good on anything, but for some reason on this one it definitely sounds more muffled than some others. But now when my daughter and my wife listen to Taylor Swift, it sounds really good, really clear. You can hear every instrument, every keynote on a keyboard. It sounds really good. But I'm not gonna bother going through audio testing because it's all subjective, and it's also going through a GoPro, so it doesn't matter. But I will just say my music, my faster, heavier music, isn't the best. It's good, but you know, it's not blowing me away. But that's a lot of it has just to do with the source and the type of music versus the sound system itself. Going to sport mode, just have fun for a second here. It's so fast. In this speed range, it's just feels so smooth. No shifting, no noises, no clunking, nothing. Just smooth power. Really fun. Really excited about tomorrow morning, about kind of pushing this car a little bit. Awesome. Ooh, I thought that was a cop. Regen, stop. So you can see my other cars. And there we are, parking brake. That's cool. I like that. All right, well, that was it. Let's just get out of here. Show you around for a sec. Love these tail lights. Love them. There's my Stinger. There's the Miata. And eventually all this will be out of here, so at least this guy can go straight in here. And I'll build a carport right there. So, all right, well, thanks everybody.